All right, so I'm over here in Photoshop now, and you notice over here that we have these different layers. If I turn the eyeball off of each one of these layers, something goes off. Well, actually, nothing's going off right now, and this is how you're going to learn how these files are formatted. Notice that nothing goes off until I get down to this last one, and now those all go away, and then when I click this one, everything goes away. So this black outline you don't really need. It's just to tell you where everything goes. It goes inside of these black lines. That's what you need to keep your design. And then the diffuse map is basically where all of your template goes, but it's the positive side. So I guess this would be the negative side. So everything goes inside of the blank transparent area. That's where your template goes. Whereas this is actually the template. So this is where everything goes on top of where the white is, okay? And so you have your neck tape, which don't worry about the names. They might not always be named correctly. And in this case, I'm not even sure if that's named correctly. I'm gonna actually walk through this one and show you how to learn what's here so that no matter how they're formatted in the future, you'll know how to take this apart and dissect them yourself if you use Photoshop, okay? So for this one, I don't know what that is, but it adds that layer, and then you see this other wider layer there that's in that collar, and there's the sleeves, and then we have the back and then the front. The reason why we don't know what those are, let me just pull that t-shirt back up. There's a neck here, but I don't know what the neck tape is. I know what the neck collar is, but not what the neck tape is. So I'm wondering if it's maybe inside of the sleeve or inside of the under here, some other place that we don't know. I don't know. I'm going to assume that there's something there that I just don't know what's there. Because again, I'm showing you how to do this as a user. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit each layer. Now, to be fun, let me just go ahead and let's take our sleeves, and let's just make those, I'm gonna make them black, color overlay, and I'm just gonna make them black, solid black, all right? And then for that, for the front, I want to take something like, well, let me do this. Let me take this little magic wand, oops, and I'm gonna do, let's see, magic selection. I'm gonna click on here on that piece of the shirt. And then what I'm gonna do is zoom in here because there's some double lines right there. I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna go ahead and select or hit shift and click in there and just make sure I get that whole area there. It covers the whole shirt up. Okay, now there's this blank area down there. I'm not worried about it. We want to at least fill up this template, but not go out. What we don't want to do is not fill up this whole area, because what will happen is it'll show on your shirt. When you upload it, you'll see a white area that goes around. So what you want to do is you could go beyond your template. You could fill just a whole big black blob right here if we wanted to, and it would still cut it to your shirt. But what we don't want to do is put our design that just cuts off around the edge and doesn't fill up this whole white space area, because then what ends up happening is we'll have white space on our shirt. Okay, so that's important to remember, is fill up the space. Okay, so if there was something here, there's obviously something there down here. There's that thin white line down at the very bottom. We want to make sure that we fill up that thin white line as well. Okay, it was almost going to skip it. So make sure that in all the templates you're doing that. If you see a white line, that's why. When you upload it and you go back into mod and you upload it, if you see a white line, it's because you didn't fill in the white template. Okay, so that's enough on that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just I'll just use this same graphic. I'm just going to grab that and just drag it over here, and I'm going to make it bigger. Let's see, cover up this whole area, that whole shirt, and then just drop it there. And then if I bring it underneath here, right, and I could actually, there's other ways of doing this, but I'm just going to click on here again. I should have did this, oops, I should have did this the other way around. So I'm going to click on it again, and I'm going to fill in that whole area, make sure I got the whole white area of the shirt selected. And let's see, let's get in there and select it. There we go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to have the white shirt selected anymore. I'm going to unselect that, and now I have that background selected. So actually, if I select that over here, so now I can hit like Control X or Control C, and then Control V, And then if I turn this off, you see that layer is there now. Now we just want to make sure that it's lined up with the white one. And it's okay if it goes outside of it, but it can't be under it, right? It can't be, it can't stay inside the lines. We have to go outside the lines. Okay, so that's good. Now we have the front done. We could do the same thing for the back if we wanted to. I'm gonna try to zoom this. Sorry, it's jumping around here. I'm trying to zoom out so I can get a good view of it. And I'm not a Photoshop expert. I don't barely know anything about Photoshop. As you can see by the way I'm jumping around. And then let's do some other cool stuff. Let's make these collars. Well, you know what? I want to actually show you something. Let me show you that you don't actually have to stay in those lines. Let me show you that you could do, let's say a rectangle. Let's take a rectangle and I'm going to go right here. Boom. I'm going to cover that whole area up. So I'll do that one purple and then we'll just copy and paste it and we'll just go over this whole area. And again, remember, you could cover out or go outside of the white line. You just don't want to stay inside of the white line unless for some reason you want nothing there, right? But if we want to fill up this t-shirt in the template, we don't want white spots. You know, if we want a white spot and if we want a whole white shirt and we want to put a design like on the back or the front, totally fine to just put a little emblem there or a logo there or something like that. But if we want to fill up the whole shirt, we want to make sure that we're covering up all of the white. All right, so it's okay for me to put these big old purple bars here way bigger than what's actually there because that's not what's important. Uploading it into Mod Studio will automatically cut everything off that's outside of the white lines. All right, so this one I don't want purple. For this one I'm going to use green so that we can actually see what that actually does. And then I am going to, for the back, I'm just going to make the back, I'm just going to fill it in black probably just for easiness. Let's make that black. Okay, oops, I have to select the back right here. All right, so I have the back and and that back might not be filled in right there. I'm not sure. There we go. So we have the back, we have the front, we have these two areas, whatever they are, the collars, and then we have the sleeves. So what I want to do is I'm going to export this. So I'm just going to export it as a PNG. I'm just going to go into my downloads and I'm going to call this whatever. I'm just going to name it whatever and hit save. And then I am going to go back over to Mod Studio, pop it open, and see I got my shirt there. I am going to come back over here. I'm going to grab the file that I just edited, and I'm going to drag it over here, and you can see that it's there now. And I'm going to come over here to the drop down, come down to my upload, give it a second, and boom, there it is. Okay, so now we see what that taper is, what that little green layer. See it inside? It's the inside line right there. That's what that is, that extra layer. So you could customize that extra layer for whatever reason. I think that's for branding purposes. But then you got the collar, and then you have the front that I put that design on, and then you have the sleeves that were both black, and then remember the black back as well. Okay, so let's get a good look at the template again. That's the template. Matter of fact, let's look at the PNG version so that you could get a good look at it with the shirt here. Let me zoom that down, bring it over here, and now, oops, you could see what that looks like. All right. So you got the green in there, that green was over here, you got the color, and remember, like I said, it's okay to go outside the lines, because if you go outside the lines, it gets cut off. Studio automatically does that. All right, so that's it for this tutorial. Let's move on to the next one.